ದೇಶದ 8 ಕೋಟಿಗೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ, ಸಣ್ಣ ಮತ್ತು ಮಧ್ಯಮ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಿಗಳನ್ನು ಗಮನದಲ್ಲಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಟೋನ್ಟ್ಯಾಗ್ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಇ-ಕೋಶ ಎಂಬ ನೂತನ ಸಾಧನವನ್ನು ಪರಿಚಯಿಸಿದೆ. ಈ ಸಾಧನದ ವಿಶೇಷತೆಯೆಂದರೆ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಿಗಳು ತಮ್ಮ ಅಂಗಡಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ಪಾವತಿ ಸೇವೆಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ವಿವಿಧ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯಬಹುದು. ಪ್ರತ್ಯೇಕ ಆಪ್ ಅಥವಾ ಹೆಚ್ಚುವರಿ ಮೂಲ ಸೌಕರ್ಯವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಧ್ವನಿ ಮೂಲಕವೇ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಸೇವೆಗಳನ್ನು ಬಳಸುವ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಇದು ಕಲ್ಪಿಸಿಕೊಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಕೋಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಡ್ಜ್ ಎಐ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಳವಡಿಕೆಯಾಗಿದ್ದು ಯುಪಿಐ 1, 2, 3 ಪೇ ಹಾಗೂ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಸೇರಿದಂತೆ ವಿವಿಧ ಪಾವತಿ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಬೆಂಬಲಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಾಲ, ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್, ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳು ಹಾಗೂ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಿಗಳು ತಮ್ಮ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಪಡೆಯಬಹುದು. ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಈ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನದಿಂದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕುಗಳು ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಸೇವೆ ನೀಡುವ ವೆಚ್ಚವನ್ನು 60% ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಿಗಳೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಿರಂತರ ಸಂಪರ್ಕ ಸಾಧಿಸಿ ಹೊಸ ಹಣಕಾಸು ಸೇವೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಲುಪಿಸುವುದು ಹಾಗೂ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯವೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಲಿದೆ. ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಸಂಪರ್ಕ ಕಡಿಮೆಯಿರುವ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಈ ಸಾಧನ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಿಸುವಂತೆ ವಿನ್ಯಾಸಗೊಳಿಸಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಕ್ಲೌಡ್ ಅವಲಂಬನೆಯಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಸ್ಥಳೀಯವಾಗಿಯೇ ಎಐ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಿಸುವ ಕಾರಣ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಇದು ಅನುಕೂಲಕರವಾಗಲಿದೆ ಎಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿದೆ. ಪಾವತಿ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಸೇವೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಕೃತಕ ಬುದ್ಧಿಮತ್ತೆ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು
all our investors, partners and my colleagues who are equally the bidders behind what we are here. But I'd like to take you through the broader vision and what we are after. Why ToneTag, right? And I'll try to give you two very interesting thoughts. A is technology, right? So globally, only people who can know a computer language could access computer, right? If you don't know the language, you can't access compute at all, right? And which limited the number of people on this planet with access to compute. But in 2000, somebody comes and says, you know what, you can touch the screen and can also access compute. And suddenly, billions of people on this planet now have access to compute. And what then they could do, what kind of changes, efficiencies, productivity they can bring in their own lives is all what we are seeing, right? But you will be shocked to know that there are still billions plus people who struggle to navigate those apps on the phone. So they can't just touch and access compute because the apps which you have given, right, they struggle to use them. But they can speak. And if somehow, right, with the advancement of technology, people can speak and access compute, then think the impact which the world is going to see. A, you have completely democratized the access to the power which technology brings. You have made it extremely accessible. Everyone on this planet now can just speak and access compute, right? And hence, if I go back and say that technology and building technology is one thing, but the meaningful impact only happens if you make them adoptable, when everybody could really adopt it and leverage it, right? And with that thought, ToneTag started. So ToneTag wanted to always become this horizontal layer, wherein as and when technological advancement happens, we become that layer which ensures that every human on this planet can have access to those advancements, right? And with that thought comes the second very interesting thought, right? Which is, if you go back 500 years, right? This country where we are used to contribute 25% to annual GDP of the world, 25%. Why? Because we were a set of entrepreneurs in this country. Every village was self-sustained, right? There were artisans who used to build something. There was something else who used to do something. Then you had farmers. So a village itself was self-sustained, right? And then you club all of that And India used to sustain the world, and that's the reason we were 25% of the world's GDP, correct?
LLMs, why we're not doing this? A good LLM costs $35 to $40 billion, and nobody's writing the check in this country. And to create AI, you need hypercloud. We just have 2 gigawatts of capacity. US has 40, and the US is investing nearly $3 trillion for the next 2 years. And we are still to start the voyage. We are a $4 trillion economy. The US is about 35, and the comparison is odious, and it's important for us to understand. So we have to work harder. We have to improve productivity in capital and bring it down, and we have to improve the productivity of labor. We are a labor surplus country. We have about 560 million people working today in the workforce. And I think our labor force participation rate is about 56. And every year we graduate about 1 crore young people. We have 4.5 crore young people in college. So we have this challenge of using this workforce. You have the challenge of creating high-paying jobs. We create good jobs, 1.6 crore a year, but 80% pay less than 25,000 rupees a month. And that is a big challenge. Not job creation, but how do you make sure that people get a more to keep body and soul together? And for that purpose, to be competitive, we need to export. We need to tackle the global market. And those industries in India
You are looking at digital, so whatever your phone or the AI today. AI is a great example. I'll use that to help you explain what is fundamentally different here, right? So today you have a chip, like an NVIDIA chip, which computes a problem, right? So it does it in a digital way. And then you have memory, where it kind of, whatever it computes, it sends it. So there is a transport which keeps happening between compute to memory through transport bus. Now if you look at in a digital world, every time you increase your compute, you have to also proportionally increase the power. And most of the power, almost 90%, goes into moving data between compute and memory, right? This is how the digital chip architecture is. So that's why you will see, and as Mohanji mentioned, so US, why they are investing 2 trillion, 3 trillion is largely to say, hey, I'll increase the compute, but unfortunately the stack I have also requires a lot of power. So that's why so much cost is there, right? But then you look at your brain, right? The same degree of compute which an NVIDIA chip will do and require a lakh plus watt, your brain does in 20 watt. So what is the difference between this and the digital compute? This is called analog, right? So your brain is an analog compute, right? But the world where AI you are seeing is on digital compute, right? Now this becomes extremely phenomenal to appreciate what we have built.